Here he is then, the man himself. What's it like watching those videos?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is, because you had all those special moments that seemed to become so quickly in a period of time where, of course, you were chasing the treble, you scored some big goals in the Premier League, FA Cup final and then the Champions League. When did it kind of sink in? Where did you think, wow, we achieved our objective that we've been talking about for so long?
I don't know, it might be just now, to be honest, seeing all these clips. It's difficult to explain, actually. I mean, the last few months of last season, they have been so special. It was like in a dreamland, you know, and obviously when such amazing stuff happens, you don't really realize straight away. So during the summer holiday, everything settled a little bit, you know, and then you kind of understood what actually happened. But still, you know, seeing these images just gives me goosebumps.
And what's incredible when you look at it, despite the success of some of the big clubs in the world, Bayern Munich, of course, Barcelona you're with now, there aren't that many that have gone on to do this treble. And what's interesting is that as the games got more important, your productivity seemed to improve as well. Was that a conscious thing that you felt that you had to up your game almost?
Maybe, I'm not sure, to be honest. I kind of know, I think I'm experienced enough to know that, especially the last 2-3 months, if you play in such a big club, you know, like Man City. What
was interesting watching that final, given that we've seen City play so much this season, was that despite all the success that you've had, it was clearly on your shoulders going into that game how big, how momentous this game was. Like, how did you deal with those nerves?
I mean, we are kind of used to it.
Right.
We played the Champions League final 2 years before, you know, unfortunately lost it. So we kind of knew what to expect. But of course, you can't really expect anything, you know, ahead of such great finals. So for us, it was just important to have a good performance first of all, and just to continue what we have been done all season long. And we fought for it very much. And to finally, you know, have your hand on that special trophy, it was just an incredible feeling.
We saw you walking down the steps there with Pep Guardiola. Some interesting comments from Gabriel Jesus about Guardiola, about his style of coaching. Like, how did you find him? Does that get to a point where it's just too much?
Well, it can be sometimes, but I think in a good way, if that makes sense. I mean, 7 years before I've joined Man City, I thought, I know football, you know, I was 25, 26 years old, so I thought, I've seen a lot, you know, I've played a Champions League final, I've won league titles, cup titles. But now, you know, standing here, after 7 years of Pep's school, I probably would say I didn't know anything about football before, you know. So his influence, not just on the team, also on me personally, was just immense. The aspects, the little details of the game that he has taught me and showed to us, I think is very special, and something also that I will take definitely for the future, you know, and maybe going into coaching one day, you know, something that will, I think, help me a lot, you know, having had that special experience with that special coach.
We saw him, of course, arguing with Kevin De Bruyne mid-match. Were there times where you would kind of shout back or interact with him in that same sort of way?
Well, it can get tempted, of course, sometimes, you know, not just in games, in training sessions as well. And I just think it's a good thing, you know. You have to show your emotions, you know, you have to kind of also go against each other sometimes.
So it's all going well. You've won the treble, you're the best club team in the world, yet you decide to leave. You decide to go to Barcelona. What was behind that decision?
I think there are a couple of aspects. First of all, and probably the main one is that since I was a child, I just adored Barcelona. You know, remembering playing the teams of Rijkaard, you know, with that special midfield, you know, with players like Ronaldinho, Messi, but then also especially connected to my position on the field, Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi, you know. These players were kind of role models for me, you know, even though I was already a professional football player myself, seeing them playing gave me just such a joy, you know. And really, since I was young, I followed the club, you know, and I always said to myself, when I get the opportunity one day, I don't want to miss out. And I was actually close a couple of times. It wasn't meant to be in the past. It was meant to be right now. And I just think that, and this is the second aspect, you know, how can you top such a season, you know, at Man City? I've been there 7 years. I've won so many titles. I have played with so many incredible players. I've had the school of Pep for 7 years. I am very grateful to have had that experience. But I thought, if I want another chance to challenge myself, to get out of my comfort zone, this is the time right now. And that mix, of having that opportunity and also, of course, the end of last season, make me standing here in front of you with that special badge also.
Yeah, and we take a look at this starting 11, and it's quite the mix, isn't it, of youth, quality, experience, all there. Obviously, you look at Lewandowski, you two linking up again from your days at Dortmund. That's got to be a special moment.
Well, I mean, the position you showed earlier on is quite a position that I'm familiar with. I've played that position the last couple of years, I think. But I see myself also as a quite flexible and versatile player. I can play also more a defensive role, and more like a pivot, holding midfielder. So honestly, I am really open to play different positions because I think I'm a player that can get the joy of each position that he is playing in. So at the end of the day, I just want to help my team, my teammates, to make life on the pitch for them as easy and simple as possible. And I think that's just the way to success. Do
you kind of covet that role? You're quite happy to play that role as, I don't want to say old man because, but when you look at the age of Pedri and Gavi, are you happy to be kind of their leader in the dressing room?
Well, I see my role as helping them and allowing them to shine on the pitch.
Right.
I think also Frankie is still very young, they have huge potential, as I said before. And I think there's just so much more that they can offer. And with my experience, with what I have lived, not just last year, also the last decade, actually, and with what I've seen, I think I can be someone who can help them and guide them a little bit, and try to make them express themselves even more than they have done last year. And that's why I'm here, and I just want to give them my full support.
Now, what's interesting, when you take a look at this list of fixtures for pre-season, there's a Clasico thrown in there. Obviously, Real Madrid taking on Barcelona this weekend. When you think about playing for Barcelona, you think about El Clasico.
Biggest games in the world. I mean, I remember myself not just in England, in the last 7 years, also even before when I was in Germany. When there was the El Clasico, everyone was in front of the TV. Everyone who loves football was in front of the TV and watching. So I was the same. It's maybe the most prestigious game in club world football, So obviously now being, a part of it, and try to compete and win these games fills me with joy and a lot of motivation and determination to be successful.
Now, I know as a Barcelona man now, you can't say anything nice about Real Madrid players, but you must be relishing that battle with Jude Bellingham, of course, someone I'm sure you've seen grow at Dortmund to become the quality player that he is. How much are you relishing that battle, and how impressed are you with him, despite the fact he's still so young?
That's exactly the point. I think he has shown us at such a young age already how much quality he has. I've played against him already a few times. He's impressive. I think not just his ability on the ball, also his work off the ball, his physicality, I think he just combines a lot of amazing things that a modern midfielder needs. And on top of that, he can also score goals. He scored, I think, last year against us a goal also with City, when we played Dortmund. So he still has a lot to offer. And I think he's a gain for Real Madrid. And I'm looking forward, to compete not just with him, with the best players. I think this brings the best out of yourself as well. And I'm looking forward to that.
And of course, before that, you've got another pre-season friendly against a team you know very well in Arsenal, who have brought in some big players as well. Kai Havertz, Declan Rice as well in this summer transfer window. That will be interesting to kind of go up against them, but very much in a different shirt this time. Yeah,
I know their manager very well, actually.
Yes.
I think he's a great manager. He's a great guy. So it was already tough, to compete with them last season. I think they were very close. And it's going to be exciting to see them how they will do in Premier League and also in Champions League, now this season. But I expect a lot of quality from them. They have a really good idea of how they want to play football. Really smart people in charge. And I'm sure that whoever is going to face them, and even now in the preseason game, that it's going to be tough. So they will compete, and I think they can do really good things this season.
I've got to ask you, because the football world's talking about. I'm sure you're talking about it amongst the team, like the numbers that are being thrown around regarding Kylian Mbappe and his possible move to Saudi Arabia. You boys must be thinking, what on earth?
Well, yeah, as everyone else probably kind of thinks. I mean, what can I say? It's something out of our control. It's something that we see that is happening, and we've seen already a few things in this transfer window, and we might need to expect a lot more. But at the end, it's football. Everyone is taking his decision for himself, for his family, what is best. And yeah, whatever happens, I'm quite sure that it's going to be exciting. Whichever league you're going to play in, whether it's in Europe or in Saudi Arabia, I think all leagues are going to be very competitive and at the end of the day, exciting to watch. And I think this is what the people want.
Before I get you, I just want to make sure this wasn't personal. This wasn't anything to do with the gastroenteritis issues that Barcelona had. This isn't why we had the distance. The distance was just so that we could show the screen. Is everyone all right now? Is everything okay?
I think everyone is okay now.
Yes.
We had a big group of training today. Yeah. So we are looking forward now to face Arsenal. I'm
going to come and shake your hand then, as you're feeling all right. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you very much for your time.
No worries.
And good luck over the first season for Barcelona.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.